And so everybody, welcome to the first Laravel News live stream. We've had this creator series running for a while now, and basically, we jump on and do an interview, publish it up to YouTube and podcast and all this other stuff. But I was thinking, it'd make a lot more sense just to do with this live because, that is the future, it feels like. So welcome to the first live stream. With us today, none other than Lynn Woodward, who was also on the creator series with us, 6 months ago or something? So welcome to the show, Lynn.
I forgotten about that until I looked at my website the other day.
Yeah, I've actually forgotten what we talked about then. I'm drawing
I think we
blanks
spoke
on
about
that.
whiskey.
That's right. Yes, whiskey, and we did not drink whiskey when we talked about it, so we failed on that part.
We were unprepared.
All right. So for those that don't know you, Lynn, do you want to do just a quick little overview of yourself? That way, all the new listeners, watchers can know a little bit more.
Yeah. So I co-founded a very small agency called Artisan Build with Ed Grosvenor, and we're still mostly doing client work, but we try to do as much open source as we can. So we've got a couple of dozen packages that are all managed in a giant mono repo. And so that's some fun stuff. The client work, we always seem to find ourselves in the youth sports niche. So hopefully we can break out of that eventually. But we're doing all sorts of experimental things, heavily relying on AI workers, just trying to make sure that our code bases are healthy with quality checks and established patterns to help us move fast. And then some of our clients, we're helping to upskill them to be able to do the same thing. And like you said, I made a tool called Whiskey for managing Git hooks. And I tend to be the guy in the Laravel community who's doing all of the FFmpeg stuff. And there will be more FFmpeg stuff to announce at some point.
I love it. Love it. Yes. So we have you on today. You have another brand new project that you've been working on. And I'm going to let you pronounce it because I feel like I've been saying it wrong in my head for the last week. So give us a little quick overview of what you got here and the name and everything.
Yeah, well, for mispronouncing, I think that's you and Nuno then, because we're on his live stream and I had him do a really quick package review. But so this thing started out I think a year or maybe even 2 years ago. I was scheduled for a talk on unblocking the terminal. So using the React PHP event loop to be able to have asynchronous rendering in the terminal so that you could do stuff like type as you're waiting for a web request to come in. And one of the demos that I had in there was a real-time chat. And in order to do that, I had it faked for the demo, but in order to do it properly, you kind of need WebSockets in the terminal. And right now we only handle that on the front end using stuff like Pusher and Echo. And I wanted something in that same naming convention. So we've got Echo, we've got Reverb. The name of this package is Resonance. And so that is going to allow us to implement the Pusher protocol as a client within a PHP runtime using pure PHP. So there's no JavaScript being relied upon for any of it. And so the benefit in that demo is that we can listen for client whispers, we can send stuff back and forth, but we can still type at the same time. We can do all sorts of this stuff, but it all happens on that same event loop.
Nice, yeah, nice. And to go with this, you sent me 3 packages, so they all sort of work together, right, to build the resonance.
Yeah, so for the testing harness, I had to make a new GitHub action because the only GitHub action I could find for a Pusher-compatible server was Sockety. I've never known how to pronounce that one either.
Yeah.
But that one's running on Node 14 or something like that, so horrifically out of date. I've kept that CI action just because I like having extra coverage, but I made a new GitHub action just called artisan build /reverb action. And so this spins up a Docker container on 8.5, runs a new Laravel 12 app, nothing else in the app. It's just enough to get Reverb running. And then you can pass into the action a couple of parameters so that you've got your proper key and your proper secret. And then the action will wait until that server is ready and then progress to the next step. So then now we're able to, in the package, check against an actual live Reverb server. So we're sure that we're not just like passing Stan at level 6. We're actually running integration tests against a live server. We're checking the results. The test suite runs super fast because like everything's happening on the event loop. So we just check for our case, move on. So that's for the testing harness. The underlying package for Resonance, because it's really just a PHP port of Echo. So we took it in. It's basically a line for line PHPification of that whole package. So the interface is the same, the naming is the same, like all of the same models have the same methods, everything is the same. But the underlying package is then a PHP port of the Pusher.js package. And we've taken out all the extra transport layers that we don't need. We've done a little bit of tweaking. And again, that's just running using the React PHP event loops. So the artisan build / Pusher WebSocket PHP package ends up with like 5 dependencies. And it's really just making sure that it's 8.3 plus, and then a couple of packages from React PHP, and then Ratchet Paul for the raw WebSocket connection. And then we've just got another line for line port of the Pusher package.
Sweet. Yeah, I pulled
So
it up
most
here.
of the
This
cool
is
stuff that you would see happens in here, but this one is not Laravel specific. Very few dependencies. And then we mentioned in the README here that if you're a Laravel dev, you probably want Resonance.
Yeah. So let me switch over to this other package
with the dopest logo ever.
We gotta build the drama. Here we go. Da, 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 da.
But yeah,
look at that logo.
It looks better on dark. I'll concede.
Looks good though.
Yeah,
Nuno
was doing his Saturday live stream, and I popped in and just dropped this, and so he took a really quick look at it. And I think the biggest hurdle that something like this is going to have is that it's not immediately obvious why anyone would ever actually need a WebSocket client on the PHP side. And so I don't know if you saw last week, Ashley Hindle, he's doing a lot of stuff with like agent orchestration through this new framework that I assume he's building himself called Fuel. And he had a need for WebSockets on the client because he's actually basically sending messages to this worker that's on his box, and he's sending events to that from his web interface on like his laptop, his cell phone, whatever. But then this worker is picking up those events and then able to do stuff locally. And this is one of the use cases that I already had in mind when I was starting this. So we can do like a different method for queue workers, or if you're in a CLI, like the Forge CLI or the Cloud CLI, instead of having to pull an endpoint after provisioning something, you're pulling the endpoint every second, looking for the results, parsing the list of assets that are there, trying to look for the status of the one that you're interested in. Instead, you could just join the channel for the events that we're already broadcasting, because they're using React on the front end. So they're going to be broadcasting events. You join that same channel, listen for an event, and then you can just react to it here instead of polling.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. I'm trying to think of any other good examples off the top of my head. I'm sort of drawing a blank, I guess, because I'm not in that world enough to use something like this. Was it actually Hindle who had like the terminal with it was like a to-do list thing and he could drag stuff around? Is it something related into there too, or is that something totally different?
So I think that's his like his view layer. That's for a package he's announced, but there's nothing in the repo yet, called Pat. And so that allows you to do like modals, overlays, toast notifications, and everything. And I'm gonna beg him for access to this because I really want it. But the part that I think he was building this CLI using Pat, but it's like the Fuel orchestrator where he was passing messages back and forth. And he ended up rolling this himself, but because he didn't realize that Resonance had been announced like the day before.
Right.
But yeah, this is the same sort of stuff. Like So just passing messages back and forth, it's a great way to do it. It's really nice and clean, keeps things uncomplicated. I always thought that maybe this would have a good use in native PHP as well, or PHP native. I can never remember the order.
I think it's native PHP. Yeah. Yeah. I was just
I can
scrolling.
never remember, and we're even sponsoring them. Like,
Yeah, here it is. Basic channel subscription. I was just going to highlight that so anybody watching can see basically how simple it is to use this, and of course multiple connections and custom drivers. I was going to say, so you just launched this. What? I feel like it was last week, right? You said you've been working on it for a while, but then finally got it launched last week.
Yeah, so I started it ages ago, and then I just got inundated with client work and just had no time to finish any of this. And so we offboarded a client like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we're onboarding their replacement next week. And so I had this little bit of downtime, figured I got to get back to this project. I got to finish it. I told Simon Hamp I would have this done like a year ago. And so, yeah, I finished it up, and I'm super happy with the interface, super happy with how it works. Like even in the demo that I've got that chat client crudely handling / commands, so I can schedule a demo where instead of just cheating and broadcasting events onto the channel, I'm actually spinning up a second WebSocket connection on the exact same event loop into the same channel and scheduling client whispers. Like, it's so much fun.
So where is the demo? I was going to see if it had a link here to show.
So on the bottom of Resonance, it's got like an example implementation for a really naive chat client, but the demo itself still lives in a local project where it's just like an artisan chat command.
This right here, artisan build community prompts.
Yeah, so this is an example chat prompt using our community prompts package, because we still don't have an asynchronous prompt base class within Laravel prompts. That was another aspect of this, is I was making I think I had like 5 or 6 PRs get into Laravel prompts within like a 2-week span. And then we just hit this one little roadblock at one point. And I just haven't implemented that solution to make that change easier. So at some point we'll finish that up. And hey, if Jess and Jyoti and Taylor are up to it, maybe we could even just make the async prompt the default class for it, because the rendering mechanism and everything is pretty easy to wrap your head around. It's not that bad.
Gotcha. Yeah. And yeah, so down here, I guess.
Yeah, so you'd make the connection, you register your callbacks, you make all your bindings within that connected callback, and then you've got some handlers for client whispers and sending events. So the chat client itself, once it's all been implemented, is pretty easy to follow.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like how it feels very Laravel. It feels very Laravel-y, I guess is the right word. Yeah, the way all this is set up, I like it. And then yeah, of course, API usage, just sort of all the supported broadcasters, Reverb, Pusher-style, and Ably.
My gut says it's Ably, but
Ably. That sounds more right than what I'm saying. Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm still trying to think of more use cases, like on it's really like if you just have like a traditional like an e-commerce site, would it come in handy there at all, or more you're thinking more like
if it's an e-commerce site, you could have like an event fire hose where every time there's a sale made or something, you're broadcasting an event to like your fire hose private channel or something like that. And then if you're in your terminal and you just want to see something, or you've got something up on the TV in your office or whatever, you could just have a little worker that's subscribed to that channel, and every time an event comes up, it just puts it up on the screen. So,
yeah.
So this is really for any Laravel process. It's going to be long-lived.
Right.
So you're not really going to be doing this as when you're serving requests. It's really going to be for CLI commands, for workers, for scheduled tasks. That's the big thing. Like another one of the demos I had in that unblocking the terminal was a fully implemented Tetris game. And so if we had the event server going on that, we could actually have versus matches within the same console. and then you're still able to like rotate pieces, hard drop, and whatever. It's taking keyboard input, but you're still listening for those client whispers. So the person you're playing against those moves will be reflected locally.
That's cool. Yeah, that would be sweet to play. Yeah, we need a like a Laravel inspired game where we can all just jump on there and troll each other with a high score
Yeah,
ranking
well,
and stuff. And
did you watch last week or the week before the mostly technical boys? They were on location and they had that chat with Taylor. And
oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they went to San Francisco out there for the AI stuff, right?
Yeah, and so one of these like just fun vibe coding side projects, Taylor was programming a mud server in TypeScript. And so this is the type of thing where you'd be able to do that, where you fire it up and it's just listening for those WebSocket events. You're doing your stuff, you're typing locally, it's still responding to keyboard input, but everyone who's in that channel is able to send client whispers. That means that interactive text-based game, you could have that be real time in pure PHP without having to do anything with JavaScript.
See, that'd be fun. Yeah, yeah. I'm the old school guy who likes just PHP and not JavaScript. So I lean toward that for everything. It's like if I don't have to use JavaScript, I'm happy.
Yeah, for sure. No one actually enjoys JavaScript. Yeah, I think having some like terminal-based multiplayer games, I think that'd be a really fun use case for this, and it would just be so easy to implement. And I know on some of Nuno's streams and some of like the stuff that Brent has been talking about, I know that people are becoming more interested in asynchronous PHP, and like all of that is based on the event loop and callbacks and everything. And it's a little bit like I've written a lot of JavaScript, and so writing asynchronous code isn't that foreign to me. But I mean, if you're accustomed to writing PHP where everything is just like one line executed right after the other, it can be a little bit complicated. And so I think there's room for learning here and just understanding how to read that code. It's like if you're just delegating this to an agent and it spits out a bunch of code, you might not realize that like this callback that's defined way up here that's doing stuff that doesn't seem to get instantiated until down here. It's a little bit tough to wrap your head around sometimes. So yeah, it's kind of a different paradigm, but I feel like there's going to be more of that type of stuff coming to PHP soon.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, let me jump to the comments. We have let's see.
Yeah, he was there.
I cannot say his name. Mr. Panya Paul. Did I say that right? I feel like I did not.
Yeah, he was there talking me up in Nuno's stream as well. He was like one of the first people to retweet my the announcement for Resonance.
Yeah, and we got I'm gonna have to work on my pronunciations. Mukram Hassan, nice to see you guys live. And then oh, he says correct. And all right, here's a real question. What is your preferred packages list? I guess we have to have more context there, I think, right?
My gut thinks he's asking about the dependencies within the underlying package. So if that's what the question is, in the PHP or in the Pusher WebSocket PHP package, we've only got about 5 dependencies. So we've got the React PHP event loop, React PHP promises, React PHP async. I think we might have the React PHP browser, but then we've got Ratchet Paul as well, which is their WebSocket client. So that's where we get the raw WebSockets from, and that's what would get wrapped by Echo.
See if we got that on the screen. Yeah, there we go. Sweet. And then
and then we got lots of quality assurance type stuff in our dev dependencies.
Awesome. And let me
and then within this. Resonance, the only things we're relying on is, I think, the SPACY package tools, which I could actually probably take that out because really we're just registering a couple of classes in the service provider. I'm relying on the Illuminate Contracts 11 plus. But again, we could probably, yeah, I mean, I think that's good to keep in there. And then we're relying on that underlying package. So very few dependencies on this as well. Like none of this is using collections. It's all just arrays. So it's all just, it's very, very low burden for dependencies.
Gotcha. Next question. Why are you not using Rector?
I haven't gotten to it yet. It's on the roadmap. I love Rector, and it's such a useful tool. But yeah, right now I've got like PHP Stan in there. I might have SOM. I'm not sure. Rector, I would love to have because I definitely want to take a look for dead code. I want to take a look for like always true statements on left-hand side, or that might be PHP Stan. But yeah, the goal is to get all of those in place, and Rector is high up on the list. We use plenty of it.
Nice. Cool. I think that's all of our comments right now. Anything that we didn't talk about that you want to talk about that is related to anything you're working on? I mean, I feel like we've done the highlights of resonance. I think I'm getting it.
Yeah, you're just about there. Yeah, I mean, there's some other stuff we've got. So like we've got two major clients right now that we're dealing with, where we've got like 3 internal projects that we're doing right now. I'll probably be able to make some videos about these soon and just kind of announcing them. One is working on our client portal where we've got our own internal tools that we make available to clients, but we're kind of separating all of this stuff out into a SaaS so that anyone can sign up and get access to our internal tooling. We're
is that like a CRM and stuff, or?
I mean, not necessarily a CRM. It's more stuff like, so we call the tool scalpels. It's just a series of very narrowly targeted sharp tools. And so one of them that I really like is like a built-in authenticator app. So like if you're on a team and you've got 2FA enabled on all your services, like, hey, I've got to get into our mail provider, but I don't remember who owns the 2FA for that. So I'm going to try to log in. You're in Slack. Hey, who got the code for this? And then you've got to hope that they give you that code within 30 seconds so you can log in. Instead, in our client portal, we've stored that seed in there. So anyone who's got access to it will track who has accessed the authenticator for which app at which time. You know who got codes, but everyone's got the ability to just go in and get that auth code. We got a bunch of other stuff like managing production and staging asset buckets so that you can fall back from one to the other, just in case you forget to keep certain things in sync. So the client portal gives us a bunch of that type of stuff. We're working on a pretty major native PHP app, and I'm really happy with how that's shaping up. I think we'll be ready to deploy that around PHP Tech. So we're nice. Working hard at that.
Are you going to PHP Tech? I guess is the question.
Can't. We're gonna be in Greece for my wife's birthday.
Oh, nice.
So we're gonna have a booth there. We're gonna have some marketing material. So Ed's gonna be there. We're gonna have a couple other people. I think Aaron and Joel from No Compromises are gonna be sharing the booth with us. I think. So don't quote me on that. Don't tell anyone. Don't put it on the internet.
Well, I was gonna say, Ed. So you'll have to go visit Harris if you have downtime in Greece. I forgot what city he's in, but I know he's in the big one. And then, but that also kind of leads me to my next question. Laracon EU, India, Australia, US. You going to any of those this year?
I won't be going to EU. I'm definitely going to try to go to the US one as long as I can make that work. If I can. The only way I'm going to be able to go to AU is if I can convince Michael to accept one of my talks. So I think last year I pitched him a couple, but just passed the deadline. And so he said some of these sound interesting, but we've already made the choices. I think I've got like 4 different talks that I could flesh out and pitch them on, and I think there'd be some fun stuff to do there. Yeah, and then a few other projects, like I'm working on an RFC for the PHP language, and so far Roman seems open to the idea. He said he doesn't have strong feelings one way or the other on it. I think a lot of people are going to hate it, but we'll see. And then I'm working on a couple of PHP extensions, and that was some of the FFmpeg stuff that I brought up. So I'm working on a PHP extension that will give us language level access to FFmpeg, not through the command line, like actually digging into the FFmpeg source code so that we can go and call individual filters and build up filter graphs manually. And then we've got all of those language level commands that we would go through. That means that if something blows up in your pipeline, we're going to get proper PHP exceptions. We're going to know exactly which part this blew up on instead of having to parse logs. And the biggest thing is that in evaluated parameters, like in the draw text filter on FFmpeg, you've got the X and Y position, which are evaluated. So you can use constants like the frame width or the frame number and all that sort of stuff. And you can calculate these positions or sizes or colors. But the pseudo language that they use for the command line is just pure violence. And so what I'm trying to do is make it so that you can pass a PHP callable into that function, and it'll be evaluated per frame using PHP code instead of that.
Nice.
So
yeah, you're doing all kinds of stuff. You're making all kinds of cool tools.
Yeah. So I've got a proof of concept for that working. However, we're doing things unsafely. Like we're digging into the struct for the filter, and then we're overriding the function pointer for the evaluated property. Instead of just evaluating code, because the pointer is an opaque pointer, so we don't get insight into what that is within the C code. And so there's some complexity here, and I'm working on a couple of patches on the FFmpeg mailing list, and it's going to allow us to do things like make available programmatically all of the variables and constants within a filter so that we can then inject that as a function parameter into our callable in PHP. And that part mostly works, but it's not done in a clean way. And then if I can make it so that function pointer is not opaque, or make it so that we've got a mechanism by which we can put our own functions in there, we'll be able to make this work. And then if I can get access to Pat from Ashley, I want to make all of that accessible within a PHP-backed FFmpeg CLI, so we can do like node-based pipelines that you can then just export into a JSON file, bring that into your PHP code, and after you've done your experimenting, you can just use it.
Nice.
So we got tons of stuff going.
So, well, I was going to ask, so it's what did you say? It's FFmpeg, MPG, right? Is, I guess, the right question. Is that going to change with all the AI tools? Like, I'm assuming everybody's still going to need this if you're going to try to generate anything, right?
My thinking is that it should make it easier, because instead of having to use AI to just generate these humongous cryptic CLI commands, you're going to be able to just write code. And so like we've got packages like the Proton Media FFmpeg package, and then I've got my Laravel FFmpeg tools package that allows you to break up complex math strings into a way that's easier to manage and understand. And you'd still be able to use parts of this. But like at that point, it's at the language level. You're not mixing all these different paradigms together. You're not just waiting for a command to fail or succeed. You get progress callbacks. I think it's going to make AI just a lot easier. And then especially if the extension is giving us autocomplete so that we know what parameters we have access to. I think it's going to make stuff like that a lot easier.
Here, I'll pull up this repo from you.
Yeah,
tools
so I ended up
there.
making this one because I wanted to do easing strings, which just don't exist in FFmpeg. And then it just kind of grew from there. So I was able to like put together filter graphs and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, the whoops. I guess I shouldn't have clicked on
Yeah,
that.
filtered graphs I might have documentation for in there, and then easing I
Yeah.
don't have.
Yes,
So we've
I
got
can definitely see how I would make this easier. Just the all the different options here, and then easing. Nope.
Oh, I guess I didn't put that in there. Yeah, this is one where I
Expressions.
kind of implemented the stuff that I needed and then left it for a bit. So maybe I'll go back to this and have the robot fill it in a little bit more.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with having the robot do everything.
Yeah.
And then I guess my next question too is, do you have a list of everything that you're working on now, or as far as like people want to stay up to date and follow and everything?
This is my list of things I'm working on.
Oh wait, let me change the screen. All right, now do that one more time. Now that we have the bigger
no, wait,
camera on.
I was wrong. This is a list of my this is a list of my subscriptions. Here, hold on. I think it might be in this one. Yeah, there's stuff that I'm working on. So I've got a couple of other PHP extensions I'm trying to do as well. So I've got the FFmpeg one, which would give us access to frame level callables. But if I can finish these other ones, I'm trying to make an extension for OpenCV and then Google's Media Pipe. So that would allow us to do things like take video streams, pipe it through there, do body segregation, pose detection, facial landmark detection, all again within PHP. And so that will allow you to do things like background removal within PHP. Every single app we've worked on for like the last 5 years has included background removal. And so we've got a C++ binary that we put together that uses OpenCV and GrabCut. And so it does that. We've statically compiled some binaries so it works on Vapor and Forge and stuff like that, but it's a bad solution. And so I'm trying to do this with OpenCV as an extension as well. So you'd be able to just like take a base 64 image, put it into this like OpenCV remove BG method, and it just spits out another base 64 string. Like that just seems so much easier to me. I have a really low pain tolerance.
Well, I just love that you're working on all this stuff that like I have absolutely no experience in any of that, and it's just like this is all like totally foreign, and I love it because eventually one day I'm gonna need one of these things, and I'll be like, oh yeah, Lynn did all the work for this, like, and we appreciate you now for what I'm probably gonna use in the future.
Yeah, well, hey, if everyone wants to like keep us doing this open source wizardry, like go to the Artisan Build GitHub, hit the sponsors button. Like we're bankrolling all of this stuff ourselves right now.
Let me go to that. Let's see. I got Artisan Build. Here we go. We'll just load up the Artisan Build page. Give you a shout out here. Let me see if I can find this. And for those just tuning in, I said in the beginning, but this is my first live stream. So, and the first time running it. So, if I screw up, you can blame me on how we're doing all this. But the hardest part is having the conversation, listening, and driving the little different like scenes and stuff. But anyway, here's the Artisan Build. It's on GitHub, and I believe it's github.com/artisan-build. And
yes, it is
you'll have all the information and everything. Let me go back to the comments one more time, make sure we didn't miss anything. Oh, we missed Laracon India. Yeah, we wish we could be there. India, Laravel India, Laracon India, big hype. Like that just seems like it's going to be so much fun, and everybody's already on their way. I've been seeing people posting pictures from Dubai, or I think Shane from Native PHP left like Friday because it snowed here or iced here where I live Saturday and Sunday. So he's like, I'm leaving early that way I don't miss the flight. So it's going to be a huge event.
So that's happening like this week, or it already happened?
It's happening. Let me check my calendar. I believe it is this coming weekend. No, it's January 31st and February
Mm.
1st in India.
I would love to be able to go to that. The kids are still young right now, so I can't I can't go for my Grand Slam yet, but we'll see.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be oh, he met Shane today. Sweet. Yeah.
Oh, Shane's good people. I like that guy.
Yeah. And then Harris says 2 more days for me, and then he's heading out. So it's gonna be a great event. And then they also have Taylor's gonna announce, or I think he's gonna demo here, from what I've read.
This is the new AI SDK.
Yeah, I think that's what's coming up for that. So
Oh, I'm
that should
excited.
be.
I was worried. I thought it was going to be a thing built to replace Prism, and on one of our projects we've put a pretty big bet on Prism, and just knowing that this is like a convenience layer over top of Prism for persisting context and messages, I'm properly excited now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's gonna be good. I mean, the way I understood it is just sort of, it makes, just the goal is just to make it easier to integrate with different things. I'd be sorry, I was reading, make sure we didn't miss anything else.
Yeah, I mean, you're on a lot of platforms here, so we're probably going to miss something.
Well,
Have we had
yeah,
anything on LinkedIn?
Yeah. He says, this guy says hello from LinkedIn. Dual Adam Ali. And yeah, so this is supposed to be streaming to Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and my X and Laravel News X. But the only problem I don't know is if all the comments get fed into this system we're using. So that would be kind of interesting. We'll find out later. But this is fun. I guess I don't really have anything else. You got anything else, Lynn, before we check out here?
I could tell you about my language RFC.
Yeah, let's do that. Let me hang on. Let's see. Pushback. Hey, I push back. And let's see. There was one more thing I was going to say before we did that. I then forgot. So yeah, let's jump into that because that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people are going to hate this proposal, but there's going to be, I mean, it's purely additive, and it actually only exists on the parsing layer. You don't need to touch the evaluator. You don't need new AST nodes, but it's related to my favorite language feature of all of PHP. And so, like, to start, I'm curious, what's your favorite aspect of the PHP language, or what's your favorite language feature?
Oh man, it's kind of underrated, and I haven't used it in a while, but I always man, now much of my age, I always liked how it had the IMAP functions and all the email parsing stuff, and the IMAP and all the email stuff. That was always useful, and it could have been just because of the industry I was in before I, went full time on Laravel News. But I always thought that was amazing. It's like, oh, you could just like tap right into all this stuff. But yeah, so what's yours? How about that? You probably have some crazy one.
Well, it's so simple. My favorite language feature in all of PHP is trailing commas. So
yeah,
in function signatures,
yeah.
in arrays, in like all of those things, the trailing commas are my favorite feature because it just helps you reorder things effortlessly. The diffs are nice and clean. Everything is the same. I'm a big fan of make more things the same. And so my proposed language feature that, again, I think people are going to hate, but some will love it, is trailing Boolean operators. So if you've got I can send you the second draft that I've got after we're done our call, but I'm really happy with it. I think the proposal is clean. Now I just got to figure out how to get back onto the mailing list and do this. But like if you've got a multi-line if statement where you've got like 4 or 5 or more different cases, and you want to reorder them, if you're the first case or the last case, depending on whether you're trailing or leading with the operators, you're going to have to touch 2 lines of code to make that happen sometimes. And so if you have the trailing operator, like sometimes what I'll do is I open the parenthesized expression, and up at the very top I'll just do like open paren true and then // PHP unit ignore line because left side statement is always true. And then I'll just put a pipe, and it's like, this is just for formatting. And then that means that my following statements can all have the double ampersand prepended. And so that way, if I need to reorder everything, it's always the same one line diff. And then you do the same with the or operator. You just start with like open paren false, and then // this is just for formatting. But instead, what we would do is, instead of prepending everything, we would have trailing Boolean operators, which is already accepted by PSR 12. This is already an accepted standard. We use trailing Boolean operators everywhere. The only reason that the pair project suggests prepending operators is because it makes it easier for diffs, which is the problem that this solves anyways.
Right.
So prepending the operators is just a workaround. But then this way, you can just have if, case, and, case, and, case, and. And what happens with that final and is, instead of it being parsed as like and true or pipe false, it just consumes that token and discards it, because anything after that token is going to be handled like that way anyways. And so this is exactly how the trailing commas works. You've got an AST node for your possible comma. This will end up being a possible Boolean or possible Boolean logic operator. It'll just get consumed and tossed away, but it reduces your diffs. No existing code will break. Everything will work the exact same way. It works exclusively on the parsing layer. So the implementation is going to touch like 3 files, adds maybe, I don't know, 13 lines of code or something. The difficult part is going to be convincing 2/3 of the voters in the PHP language to accept this. Because I know trailing commas took like, what, 2 or 3 years to get through?
Well, that's what I was just sitting here thinking, like, how would we market this? You know, like maybe we need to like a really sweet like landing page and be like, you know, doing the bad and the good or something, like to just try to get like these people on board with being like, just go ahead and approve this, you know?
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, there are other languages that handle this natively anyways, like JavaScript and TypeScript, when you've got automatic semicolon insertion at the end. So if you're not inserting semicolons and you terminate your line with a Boolean operator, then it knows that that's not a complete expression. So it doesn't insert the semicolon, and so it just moves on to the next block of code. But that block of code still executes. So having this, like, this behavior just works for free. And then we have that same sort of mechanism within Ruby. So if you finish off a statement with a Boolean operator, it's an incomplete statement. It just progresses to the next line. And so we're really just catching up with other languages. And it always just brings it back to making more things the same. If I can have 6 cases, like, yeah, you could extract this into a well-named variable, but you're still going to have to define that variable. And so you still have all those cases. Every single line is formatted the same. We've got the trailing operator on every line. It's just a nice, clean way to do it. And if you don't like the way it looks, just don't use it.
Yes, exactly. Well, and then, well, I guess that's my question too, is so the whole thing that holds it up is, because I know I've been around for PHP forever, but the RFC, I've never submitted RFC or actually read through them. I've only read when they've been approved. But basically, you just have to reach out to enough people and get enough support before anything can really be in, right? Like, you're gonna have to like write up a whole like 40-page document on this and then go from there, or is it like?
I mean, I've got my document. I haven't checked how many pages it is. I think the whole thing is only about 350 lines. So we're probably looking at 2 or maybe 3 pages. So it's not a big read. It's not a big feature. I mean, I've only got an existing relationship with one of the people on the PHP Foundation anyways. So I sent it back to Roman a little bit just to look it over. And it's like, yeah, I think the RFC looks good. I don't have strong feelings about it, but I think this looks like you could pitch it. And so I go over the reasoning, the comparisons to other languages. I look at the language impacts, how hard it would be to implement, all that sort of stuff. And so it is a really quick document. We'll see if it goes through. I mean, I think the number of RFCs that have passed on their first try is like minuscule. So the chances are low, but you've got to try.
That's right. Yeah. And I assume they come back and tell you if like this doesn't get approved. So then they can tell you why they didn't like it, or let you improve if they don't like just straight away shut it down.
Yeah, I think most people are going to do that, where they're going to leave their thoughts on it, because I don't know if this change has been made yet, but I know the RFC process either is or is going to be a two-step process, where the first vote isn't approving the feature, it's showing interest in the feature. Like, this seems like a feature that is worth exploring. Let's approve exploring it. And then once it's been iterated on enough, then there would be a second vote that's like, okay, this is what the feature would look like. This is finished. We can now start voting on implementation.
Sweet. Yeah, that'll be awesome. Yeah. I hope it works, because like I'm always pro improving things, and I know a lot of them are not, like, it's like they think it's fine the way it is, so they'll never approve anything, but I'm always for trying to improve things, make them better. But that's cool. Oh wait, we got more. Hang on, we got more comments. Miro, hello. Matthias, Lynn, you are a monster. Wait,
yeah, always got love for Matthias.
Wait, you are a really smart monster. This is awesome. Ed, sweet. All right. Well, I don't have anything else. We've been going for about an hour now. You want to, got anything else, or you want to go ahead and end it now? And
yeah, I think that's
everybody
pretty
go
much
see
everything.
you.
That's all I had on my schedule. So I got the rest of my day. Anyone who's watching, please give us money. Go to our sponsors page. I like doing open source, but it doesn't pay well.
Yeah, go support Lynn, Lynn and the crew. I got it up, Artisan Build. Go check out their GitHub, all their projects. They have a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, if you're going to be at PHP Tech, stop by our booth. I won't be there, but Ed will. If you're going to be at Laracon EU, again, I don't think I'll be there this year, but Ed will. And yeah, the other conferences, I should be at Laracon US, as long as everything goes okay for that. If I can convince Michael to accept one of my talks, I'll be at AU. We'll see what happens.
I love it. Yeah, so I'll be at EU and US. I want to go to AU, but we're gonna find out, because it's don't tell Michael, but this is my 20th anniversary, and we're gonna do a trip in June for our anniversary. I don't know how that's gonna coincide. But I do definitely want to get out there and all that stuff. But man, so we had, looks like 500 people online watching, so that's kind of cool.
That's
awesome. I like this.
That's aggregated across all the platforms.
I have no idea. It just has some in the top corner. Yeah, it looks like across all, so that's kind of cool. But well, I guess we've been doing this for 12 years now. 15 years. It builds up a lot. But if you did watch and you enjoyed the live stream, let me know. If you hated the live stream, let me know and tell me what we can do better for next one. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching. With that being said, thanks for doing it.
Yep. If you want to follow me, search for @ProjectGopher on pretty much all the channels. Project with a K, not a C.